Hi, my name is Jesse T. Mr. Sold from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty up here in Palmdale, Lancaster, and the surrounding AV area. Also from the desert to the sea, you're with me, Jesse T. We've been moving real estate all around Southern California for about 43 years. I've been in the business for a long time. I started when I was 19, and now I'm 62, and I'm proud to be a senior citizen. It has gone by so fast. The kids have grown up and gone away, and I tell you, time just slips through your hands, and then you wake up and you can get senior citizen stuff. So that's kind of cool. Well, I've been selling real estate, over 4,000 transactions closed in my time in the real estate business. I do own the company. I'm the broker owner. And we also process our own loans in-house. So we've been doing that, probably about 35 years now. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is real briefly, I wanted to talk to seniors. Because right now with the market changing, a lot of seniors are asking the question, should I really be staying here in Southern California? A lot of people are real concerned about the crime, the filth, the homelessness, the high taxes, and that just seems to never stop. They're talking about taxing the whole freeway, not turnpikes or anything like that, taxing the whole freeway. That's in legislation in Sacramento right now, and they're voting on it. Can you imagine? Every time we turn around, they're taking our money. And let's face it, our money as seniors, for the most part, is set. We may have investments that are creating income for us, but we might have pensions and social securities that are basically set with very little increase for adjustments from year to year. Far not catching up with the increases and the costs of living here in Southern California. If you've been in your house for any period of time over the last 5 to 7 years, your equity position is just tremendous. And so we feel that in a lot of cases, we're working with seniors from the ages of 60-ish all the way up to 90s. They're looking to move out of the area for a lot of reasons. Some move out of the area because they're just tired of it all. Some move out of the area because they want to be next to grandkids and kids. Some move out of the area because of medical related issues. There's a lot of reasons why people move or in that age bracket. But the most important thing is that you want to work with somebody that is in your age bracket, that basically understands what you're going through. Now, being 62, that gives me the advantage of understanding that and being appreciative of the nuances that we as seniors have to look at every day and think about. Because let's face it, our time clocks are ticking at a different pace than a 30-year-old person or a 40-year-old person. They have their whole life ahead of them. Our time clocks are ticking differently. And we do hope and pray that you live a long and very extended life. I want to tell you a story about a 90-year-old man who was living in Sun Valley. We recently sold his house a few years ago. His name is Richard. And Richard lived in his home for 60 years, he and his wife and his kids. And the kids grew up and moved away. And his wife passed away just at 57 years old from Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. Richard at the time was 60, and I've known this family for, well, basically 61 of my 62 years because I grew up in that neighborhood and I knew their kids, and I've known this family my whole life. I knew their grandparents, my friends' grandparents as well. And so Richard was 60 years old when his betrothed, when his wife passed away. He lived in the house that he paid for, he and his wife, and it was pride of home ownership. A beautiful neighborhood in Sun Valley. But then what started happening towards the early 1990s as the neighborhood started falling apart. It became what was a moderate middle-income family neighborhood to a low-income, crime-infested, filthy, disgusting, dirty neighborhood. He put up with this for some time. We talked all the time because I was concerned about him. His kids were on the other side of the country, so, I looked out for him. And I liked him, crusty old fella. Anyway, the point is, one day, the house next door went vacant, and then some transients moved in, bums, street people. Horrible things started happening there. The power and electricity was turned off, and they were using plastic bags in the toilet to go poop in. They tapped into the power pole for illegal electricity. They would bring big barrels of water in. They had prostitution going on in the back shed. There was a cut and chop shop. They had over 20 tons of junk in the backyard. They would bury their poop sacks in a hole in the backyard. And there was always drugs being done there, drugs being sold at night. And eventually an RV pulled up on the split driveway, the shared driveway of Richard's house. And it parked itself there. And eventually pee and poop started leaking out of the RV and smelled atrociously. Finally, he called me up. And I've been after him to do something about this. And he was a prideful man. And he went out there a couple of times with an instrument of disaster in his hand. And they just all laughed at him. Old man. Okay. So what happened was he called me up and he said, Jesse, can you do anything for me? I got to get out of here. And I said, well, Richard, first we got to do is clean up that house next door. So with my political contacts, because I have been fighting human trafficking here in Southern California for 15 years, with my police contacts, my DEA, my INS, FBI, seriously, all of these organizations helping me fight the human trafficking that has just exploded in Southern California. I was able to get rid of these people within 3 months, get the place boarded up by the city of Los Angeles, and a big 14-foot fence put around the whole thing. And so we kept the front yard clean, and then I put his house on the market. And he was in his early 80s when this took place. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't keep his house up anymore. And it was a house where he and his wife and his family grew up, and the memories were depressing him terribly. So we got his house sold for a very nice price. And he moved up to the Antelope Valley and bought a beautiful house for a very low price. And had a lot of money extra to add to his pension and Social Security, so he had income. Very conservative people. They didn't buy a bunch of properties or invest in stocks or anything. Hard-working people for 40 years or longer, 50 years. And so he moved up here, and, well, he lives in a cul-de-sac. He's the old-timer. He's got great neighbors that look out for him. They all say, hey, Richard, how you doing? They bring him food a couple times a week that the ladies or the men cook for their families. And they all look out for Richard. And he's 91 years old now. 91. I visit him all the time. Love that guy. I love the fact that and I think that I had something to do with him living even a longer life. I think he's going to be 100. He's healthy as an ox, And he has no more stress or anxiety, no more anger like he did living in Sun Valley. So we could do that for you. We do that for folks. And I take great pride in telling you that story. Your Home's Hope Guaranteed up here in Palmdale, Lancaster. Basically what we do is we'll guarantee the sale of your home, or we'll buy it. Or we'll pay the difference if we have to sell for less money. There are actually 16 things that we do that nobody else does. No real estate company, no firm, no agents, no brokers. We are the only ones that do this. We move our properties. It's our VIP seller agreement, and it's got so many tremendous guarantees, offers, and benefits for you, the seller, the senior seller. Okay? And I'd love to talk to you about those, a free seller consultation. So thank you for joining us on this quick little video. And thank you for letting me share that story about Richard. This is Jesse T, Mr. Sold, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You want to call us or text us, 818-800-1343. I've had that number since pager started. But our number up here is 661-455-7155. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty here in the Antelope Valley for all of Southern California. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America. And let's take care of our warriors, our children, and our family.